So, yeah, this morning I was looking at my student loan account because I have student loans. So, I wanted to check what was the deal and whether I had to resume payments in February. Somehow they extended the start to begin in May 2022. So that's good because I was concerned that I had to start making payments now, and I was getting ready for that. So I still have some time for that to resume. At the same time, I look at the amount of student loans, and I'm talking about federal student loans, which they are different from private student loans because private student loans are owned by the company and they don't offer the repayment options that federal student loans offer. So if you are in school or you're planning on going to school for a program, my recommendation will always be never take private student loans. They can wreak havoc on your finances, and the repayment options are not as affordable as federal student loans. So so I went to check my account, and my total balance of student loans is $95,000 in federal loan that I have to repay back. Now, how did I got into that amount of student loan debt, you may wonder. So when I went to school, when I went to college, my dad offered to pay for my bachelor's degree, which he did. I didn't have to put a dime towards my bachelor's degree. My dad helped me pay my bachelor's degree. So I got my bachelor's degree. I got my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering in 1999. And then at that time, I was looking at my job prospects. And honestly, after the year I graduated, I didn't have too many job prospects. I didn't have a job offer right after I finished my degree in Puerto Rico, and so I wasn't sure what I was going to be using. And I decided to apply to the program in civil engineering to go to study environmental engineering and do a master's degree. That's why, because when I finished my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, I had done taken enough courses in environmental engineering and I was like that area, the field of environmental engineering. So I decided to go into environmental engineering, and I went to environmental engineering. So I got accepted. I started working on call with a consultant firm, but the job was on call, so I didn't want to stay there because say I finish a project, so if there's no project after that for me to work, I would not be able to continue working. So it didn't make sense to me to be working a position like that. So I talked to my supervisor at the job and I told them that I got accepted to go for a master's degree, and he told me go for it. So I did. However, this time I had to pay for my degree, so I took federal student loans. And again, my dad only offered to pay my bachelor's degree, so I had to find a way to support myself and pay for the education. The only way that I could do so was with federal student loans, because I couldn't find a job in anything else in Puerto Rico. I tried to work retail. When I was in college. I wanted to work at Blockbuster because I like movies and I enjoy watching movies. So I wanted to work in a place where I could do recommendations about movies to people and all that kind of stuff. So I applied to my local Blockbuster, but I never got called for an interview. I tried to apply for a grocery store, and I never got contacted either. And so yeah, I was having a hard time finding a job. This is nothing that has been recently. I always have a hard time. For whatever reason, I can't find a job. You know, it's been tough sometimes. So I stayed in school. I finished my master's degree. Then, while I was finishing my master's degree, I stopped for a while. I took a year out. I decided to get a job, and I ended up moving to South Jersey. I'm working for the US EPA and going to a monster factory at the same time. And I worked a year for the federal government. And then I decided I had to finish probation. They didn't approve my probation. My supervisor didn't sign it. It was because I told my supervisor wanted me to take a look at a biological report. I know nothing of biology. What can I comment on that? Honestly, when I don't know much about biology, it's like when you're an engineer, you have to be ethical. So like, my ethic is like, I don't know anything about biology. I cannot help. I don't know how to answer this, honestly. So he got upset and he decided to let me go and not sign my paperwork. So I got ditched from the federal job, and so I decided to go back to Puerto Rico because I couldn't find another job. That was after 9/11 happened, so the economy was going downhill. So not having a job meant for me I will have to go back to Puerto Rico at that point. So I decided to return to Puerto Rico, and I wanted to stay in New Jersey. I was living back then in New Jersey, but I don't know. I didn't have a car. I pretty much decided finally to move out back home because I felt it was easier. So I moved back home and I decided to finish my master's degree. So I finished my master's degree, and when I was finishing my master's degree, I wanted to get more education. I thought like, okay, what to do with a master's degree? With a master's degree, there were not many options other than hope that I can find a job. But it became a little bit difficult to find a job. So I was kind of like, I always like academia, so I wanted to teach, do research. So I decided to apply to the school that my advisor had attended. And mostly I applied because and hope that I get a chance to be accepted. Not many schools accepted me. And because of that, I decided to not pursue it was a simple decision. So I applied to RPI. RPI gave me a scholarship, so I got a scholarship, and that's why I ended up moving to Troy, New York in 2004 to pursue a PhD degree. Like I said, I wanted to work teaching in academia and mostly doing research. I like doing research, but I had problems with my advisors, and my scholarship ended, and I ended up taking more student loans, and as such I had to drop out of school. I couldn't finish the PhD. So, and then I got interested in theater too at that time. I saw theater and I was like, oh, I always have liked theater, and I don't know why I never pursue an interest in theater. So I decided in 2009 to enroll part-time in a program at my local community college, in a theater arts program, because I like theater. I started doing wrestling in 1999 while I was finishing my bachelor's degree, professional wrestling, yes. And I noticed that there are so much stuff in pro wrestling that acting is kind of like will fit into. And also, honestly, growing up, I did a few plays growing up. I was into music. I like playing the saxophone. I used to play band. I was in band in high school. So yeah, definitely performing arts was in my blood. So I decided to pursue something that I like and that I enjoy. And because I have also learned at RPI about stage combat, so I decided to enroll in Hudson Valley and pursue a degree in theater arts. At that same time, my state job was at risk because the governor at the time decided to do layoffs. So I got laid off, pretty much. And I didn't have a car, so even if they wanted to move me to a different position, I didn't have a car. I didn't have the mobility. So I just backed down from the workforce. I decided to take the hit on the layoff because I just didn't have a way of moving around. So I decided to get back into school while finding a job. And the economy was bad. The economy was really bad. So like, I applied to jobs, I got denied. I applied to jobs, I got denied. And It wasn't until 2013 that I was finally to find a job, and that was my first job in retail with Home Depot, working as a cashier in 2013. And after I finished my degree in theater arts, I decided to stay in another degree, which I thought could help me improve my chance to find a decent job too, or a different job. And I went for business administration and a certificate in accounting. Accounting just clicked with me because it's number, it's math, and that was something that I enjoyed pursuing. Again, I took federal loans to pay for the tuition, so I had more loans to the amount of student loans that I already had. So definitely not something that I advise, but I finished 2 more associate's degree, 2 more degrees in my hand, education. I got no regrets. Accounting was great. I love accounting. I have always wanted to work. It gave me a passion to like, oh, maybe I can work as a bookkeeper too, more aware of the accounting process. I see the application that it has in engineering, and I see the application that it has in other areas such as theater too, because theater is a business too, even in wrestling is a business too. So it helped me understand a little bit more about the numbers and accounting and things like that. And I love the area, so I wish I could be working as a bookkeeper. But experience is the one that is hitting me. It's the same thing as environmental engineering. I wanted to go, not working necessarily for the state. I always been interested in getting to work with consulting and engineering. So to me, not being able to get into consulting has been very depressing, and it hasn't helped me honestly. But having gone to Hudson Valley, I had more students. This time when I was going for automotive management, because I also like a big developed an interest in cars lately in life, I was paying for my tuition by little by little in parts, but it's still expensive. It's but no many jobs pay enough money that I can pay my tuition and pay our living expenses. So it was very difficult to pay the tuition. Find a job that will pay you good money while you're in school, it's difficult. It's totally, completely difficult. Like if your class had no lab, it's a little bit easier, but honestly, it's difficult. Like going to school, if you don't want to take student loans and if you don't qualify for financial aid, it's difficult. It's very, very, very difficult. So all the loans that I had, they added up to this $95,000. So that's how I ended up with $95,000 in student loans. The sad part is I wish my education would help me get a better job, higher paying job than just a minimum wage job or a job in retail, honestly. And unfortunately, with the pandemic hitting and other counts and the workplace changing, it has been very difficult for me to find a job, a high-paying job, especially in this area. I have applied to companies and it's not like I'm complaining without doing my part, because I've been doing my part. I've applied to jobs at companies like Regeneron, which I know they probably can use my skills as environmental engineering and in chemical engineering, but I don't even get called for an interview. I apply with recruiters and I get told shit. So it's becoming very depressing. It has become very depressing for me to searching for a job, because for whatever reason I cannot get an opportunity where I want to go. I applied to this company called Biodevelopment. They have a position that I think I qualify because of my education in chemistry, which is for Quality Assurance Technician 1. I went for an interview. I have applied twice for that job, and I never been offered a job. And they're still looking for a person to work for them, which is hilarious. It's like, we're not going to give you the chance because whatever reason, let's find somebody else. You have to wonder why too, because I don't know how much they pay for that position either. So the position, the other thing too, finding a job for me is like when I apply to a position manufacturing and they tell me that they pay $40 an hour, $30 an hour. I look how much I earn at Walmart for the position that I have at Walmart, which is $17 an hour at Walmart. And manufacturing, they brag, oh, we're a great company, yada yada, and you're paying so shitty wages in manufacturing. It's just a more technical. You're paying very little money. Like when I was working at Monroe as an automotive technician, I was getting paid $13.50 an hour. And I'm a technician. I'm doing work that is, in my opinion, you have to have a little bit more knowledge be more knowledgeable so that way you don't screw up the car. But no, $13.50 an hour just because. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. So I have the student loan debt. But going back to the student loan debt, it's like I have it. It's there. It's depressing because I don't know how I'm going to pay that. And one will expect that, oh, so you have education, you can find a better job. That's not necessarily the case, and that's the part that is depressing, and that is hitting me lately. It's like, oh, I got an education for what, to work at a Walmart. Great, fantastic. And knowing that I'm in my mid-40s, and knowing that retirement is, if I get to the retirement age, that is, because right now doesn't seem to be that way. It doesn't look like I will get to doesn't look like I'm going to get to the retirement age, and I have no savings for retirement. I have no 401k. I personally don't like 401k. I think it's stupid. But the point that I'm trying to make is like I got $95,000 in student loan. Paying the minimum with income-based repayment, it's not going to be paid anytime soon. So I'm concerned that getting to a retirement age and not still have that high amounts of student loan debt in me. I thought about getting back with the government, but I don't know if I want to get back with the government. I don't know if I really want to go back to work for the government. I worked at the government and tax and finance for a while, but the workplace was toxic. The workplace at the New York City Department of Taxation and Finance was toxic. I don't know if they didn't know what to do with me. I feel like there could have been a little bit of transphobia involved in there. Even though, like, they had somebody else too that was trans at the division that I was working. But because I'm different and I'm more towards the butch side, I think more people, some people may have had a little bit more of a problem with me. Not to mention that I had some co-workers that were, I don't know, they somehow they have an issue with me, and then dealing with my IBS and having supervisors that didn't understand what having IBS meant, and then also dealing with co-workers telling me like, oh, but you have too much masculine energy, you should have never transitioned. That kind of shit happening at the workplace. Like, yeah, no. It was not a good place to be. They fired me pretty much. Again, I think they didn't know what to do with me. The training wasn't as great. People tried to offer advice, but they didn't offer enough advice to help you grow. And it was unbalanced. It was unbalanced too, because people like to live at a certain time and then the work will not get done. Because that's how I make some mistakes. I was arriving late sometimes, so not that I haven't been able to fix the lateness, but they just let me go. And in all honesty, I was thinking about quitting the job because I was not happy there. I didn't even want to go to work, and you know, and that actually was why I was getting late to work sometimes, because I really did not want to go to work. And but I could probably try getting back with the state, but because the state, if you work for the government, you can get like and pay the loans for 10 years. You can actually get loan forgiveness. But I don't know if I want to do that, honestly. That might be an option to explore, but like I said, I've been trying to apply for government jobs and I'm able to find any at this point. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do was to be able to repay my student loans, and I'm frustrated about that. That got me depressed because it's like 95,000 in student loan debt that I will be carrying on till my grave. So, yeah, and I'm not being able to feel like I can find a job that will pay me something better. I'm not learning skills that will help me get a better job long term. Honestly, working retail is, I feel stuck. Honestly, like I'm not getting any, developing any skills right now that will help me get something better. There's rather a customer service here, only other than the excuse me, do you know where I can find sugar? Or like yesterday, excuse me, I'm looking for pet food. Yeah, pet food department, because it's a department store. So yeah, so definitely, like, I'm not learning anything that will help me get a better job, that will help me grow a career out of this. Retail doesn't do that for you. Especially if I want to get into engineering field, or if I want to get into manufacturing or working in a manufacturing plant. Like, I'm not getting any experience, not even in accounting either, because I understand how accounting works. You purchase things and you sell them for a higher price, you earn a profit, yada yada, understandable. But I'm not doing accounting, honestly, and so I'm not doing any skills that can help me get something better in life, and that is also hitting me, honestly. That is also hitting me, and it's upsetting, it's depressing, it's annoying, and it's like the jobs that I apply and the jobs that sometimes I get offered for jobs that want to pay me so very little that it's disgusting. It's like, why this is happening to me? Why this is happening to me? Like, and if I want to move to a different state, and if I want to go to a different job, like, there's something more than that I have to consider. It's not like I can just move just because I'm a trans woman. I cannot go to just any state whatsoever, because there are states that are probably going to have a worse situation than what I'm having here, and that's been the problem. That's been the part that's keeping me depressed. And don't get me wrong, I still love wrestling. I still love doing wrestling. I still love being involved with wrestling. I still love going to a gym. I love the circus. Certain things in my life, there are certain things that I love. But when it comes to my job situation, I'm not happy with my job situation. I'm not happy where things have gotten to, and freaking and I wish that I could do things different, and I wish things were different, especially because when I want to go for engineering, I want to go for computer engineering. So I sometimes wonder if having gone to computer engineering, things will have been different for me, but I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Peace, everybody. Stay safe. Bye.